So colonialism and the countryside. Colonialism referred to the rule of the British, which they ruled over India for a long period of time, and the countryside refers to the rural areas of India. So what was the effect of the colonial policy on the rural area that we are going to discuss over here? So because after the Battle of Plassey, British became a ruling power in India. Before that, it was only a trading company, and thereafter they set up their first rule in Bengal. After the Bengal, they set up their rule in other parts of India, and wherever they started their rule, they followed the policy of revenue and other administrative policies. So we will discuss about these policies and what were their impact upon the farmer or the rural background, that we will discuss over here. Is that clear? Now, first of all, sources. So which are the sources through which we get to know the information of that time, that we will discuss over here? First of all, revenue records and the surveys. Revenue records which were kept by the uh, British company, and the survey which they conducted as far as the agriculture and other rural economy is concerned. So these are the important sources for us to study about that time. Then journals and accounts left by the surveyor and the travelers. They wrote, there were many travelers who visited India at that time. They wrote in the newspaper and magazines. They wrote their own magazines. They wrote the account of the condition about the farmers in India. So these are also important sources to know the countryside of that time. Then the report produced by the Enquiry Commission. At times in the colonial period, there used to be many revolts in the rural areas. So Inquiry Commission, which is generally set up by the government after a major upheaval, so that kind of inquiry commission was set up by the Britishers, and that inquiry commission produced reports. So those reports are also an important source to know about that time. Is that clear? So there are three sources through which we come to know about the colonial period and its impact upon the rural India: revenue record, surveys, journals, and report by the travelers, and report produced by the inquiry commission. Now proceed to the main content of the chapter. First of all, Bengal and the Zamindars. So we are studying first of all about the Bengal. Why we have chosen Bengal? Why not other areas of India? Can anybody?
Bengal में शुरू में start हुआ था.
Yes. The Battle of Plassey was a decisive battle in which the Nawab of Bengal was defeated and company's rule started in India. Then they adopted their first administrative and revenue policy in the Bengal. After the Battle of Buxar, they got the Diwani of Bengal first time. As a result, they started their rule from the Bengal itself. And Zamindar was the rural magnate in the Bengal. They used to be the most powerful people in the Bengal, and maximum land of the Bengal was controlled by the Zamindars. So we are studying about the Bengal and its Zamindar. First of all, there comes an auction in the Bardwan. What do you mean by the auction? What does it mean? Auction क्या होती है?
बोली लगाना.
बोली लगाना. बोली कब लगाई जाती है?
खरीदने के लिए.
बोली जनरली लगाई जाती है खरीदने के लिए, या जो कर्जा नहीं दे पाता उसके एसेट्स की बोली लगाई जाती है. अब भी लगाई जाती है, बैंक बोली लगवाते हैं. Those people who are not able to pay their loan, their property can be auctioned by the bank. The same way, there was also an auction, and this auction was organized by the East India Company. So what kind of auction it was, that we are going to study over here. First of all, over 75% of the Zamindar used to be very rich in Bengal. They were having many villages under their control, and you can imagine that how rich and powerful Zamindars used to be in Bengal. But still, 75% Zamindari of these Zamindars was auctioned. Why it could be auction? There must be some reason why the rich person like the Zamindar who was not able to pay the revenue to the company. As a result, their Zamindari used to be auction. So this is a case study of the auction at Bardwan. So in that auction, numerous purchasers came. They also did a bid for the land. So bidders came over there to purchase the land of that Zamindar. And generally what happens in auction, the highest pair is given that asset or that property. Those who give the maximum money, the land and the property becomes his. Many purchasers turn out to be the servant and agents of the Raja. But there was a twist in the tale. When the auction was continuing, then there was a twist in the tale. There was a thing which was surprising the people, that maximum bidder who came over there to purchase that land, they were the servant and the agents of the same zamindar whose zamindari was going to be auctioned. Is that clear? Over 95% of the sale at the auction was fictitious. So 95% sale which was done at that was fictitious sale. It was not the proper sale. It was only a fictitious sale. एक फर्जी किस्म की जो है ये सेल हुई थी. As I told you this chapter in the video, Ambrose,
Yes, sir.
ये वीडियो दे दिया था मैंने क्या इस चैप्टर का पहले?
No, sir. नहीं दिया सर.
पक्की बात है? मुझे लग रहा है
Yes,
मैंने.
sir.
Okay. Next is, you can see that this is an image of the mahal of a Raja. This is the mahal. This is the palace of a Raja. And this palace is of whom? The Raja of Bardwan, whose auction was done at that time. The auction which we have studied about, the auction of Bardwan, whose land was sold to the highest bidder. This is the palace of that Raja. And this palace is quite magnificent because these kind of houses were not there at that time. So it means he was very, very rich person. And this is the image of that Raja Mehtab Jan, who was the Raja of Bardwan. So from these two images we can imagine that the Raja used to be very rich because his dressing sense and his palace tells us about these things. Now, why the Raja of Bardwan and other zamindars were not able to pay the revenue? Why their land was auctioned? So there must be some grave reasons. As a result, their land and their property was auctioned. First of all, by the 1770s, the rural economy in Bengal was in crisis. The economy of the Bengal was in crisis. Why it was in crisis? There were numerous reasons that we will discuss over here. With recurrent famine, there used to be famine and drought-like situation. Then declining agricultural output. The output in agriculture also declined because of the lack of rainfall and other reasons. Officials felt that agriculture, trade and revenue resources of the state could be developed by encouraging investment in agriculture. Now company wanted to get more revenue and to get raw material for their industry which was situated in India as well as in England. So they wanted to encourage the agriculture and they wanted to increase the productivity of agriculture. As a result, they wanted such kind of policy which lead to more investment in agriculture so that more output can be produced. So they try to find out ways and means through which the agricultural production can be increased and more investment in the development of agriculture sector can be done. This could be done by securing rights of the property. Earlier, the rights of property was not given to the zamindar or anybody else because the land was considered to be the asset of the state. The king was having the overall control of the land. That we have discussed about the crown ownership of land in chapter 5. What does it mean? Crown ownership of land means the entire area of a kingdom is belonging to the ruler itself and it is on the wish of the ruler whom he wants to give that land. So in that case, if I have been given the land by the ruler, so it is not my permanent land. So I would not like to make any investment in that land. So I would try to get maximum from that land, but I would not do anything to improve the quality of that land. So that was one of the reason which is written by the Francois Bernier also in his chronicle that crown ownership of the land is the main reason for the backwardness of the Indian agriculture. But the company wanted to allow the private property. As a result, they wanted to give the land permanently to the zamindar. So they wanted to give the permanently land to the zamindar by fixing a fixed revenue rate. If the revenue would be fixed, then zamindar could save more and his saving could be invested in the agricultural land because land would become permanent for him and his family. So that was a way through which they could increase the investment in the agriculture. Earlier, the revenue was taken from the farmer, but it was taken according to the production. If the production is higher, more revenue used to be obtained from the farmer. If the production is less, less revenue was obtained from the farmer. But the company fixed the same amount of the revenue for all time, whether the production is more or the production is less. Then, in that condition, the company believed that the farmer would try his best to increase the production because surplus production means surplus income for the farmer, and company had to be given only a fixed rate. So, company could not levy more revenue from the farmer in case of the increasing production. So that was a way through which company wanted to encourage the farmer to increase the agricultural production. And company will look forward to a regular flow of revenue. Now the revenue was fixed, the farmer was aware about how much revenue he had to pay to the company. As a result, he would be paying regularly revenue to the company. That was also a thinking of the company. This would lead to the emergence of yeoman farmer and rich landowners who would have the capital and enterprise to improve the agriculture. They believed that because of this, the income of the farmer will be increased and surplus income will lead to the improvement of the agriculture because they will invest the money in improvement of the agriculture. Thinking that, the company started a policy and we will discuss about that policy. What policy was that? So the name is given on the top. What was the policy? What was the policy?
Permanent settlement.
Permanent settlement. Permanent settlement refers to the policy where the revenue was fixed for all time. And when it was introduced in 1793. And who introduced this person? What is the name of this person? Charles Cornwallis. Do you know about the Charles Cornwallis?
Yes, sir.
Who was he?
He introduced the zamindari.
He introduced permanent settlement. That is a landmark decision by him. Secondly, he was the governor of Bengal. He was the governor of Bengal. And he made some certain other reforms in India also. And he is considered to be the father of civil service in India. The civil service was started by Charles Cornwallis. The first ICS examination was started by Charles Cornwallis. He also did police reforms in India. So he is known for various reforms which were introduced in India. Is that clear? Before coming to India, Charles Cornwallis also served in America, in US. At that time, he was the army commander of British Army and he was at the rank of brigadier, and he fought a battle in the American War of Independence, and the battle was between the three colonies of the America and Britain. So he was the commander of the British Army, and the commander of the 13 colonies was George Washington. So he got a defeat at the hand of George Washington, and after getting the defeat, he was called back to England, and after some time he was sent to India, and he became a very successful governor of the Bengal at that time in India. Again, he was sent back after some time, but he could serve only for 1 year. Thereafter, he died. So this is about the Charles Cornwallis. So he introduced the policy of permanent settlement, and it was introduced in 1793 in Bengal. Then the permanent settlement was made with the Rajas and the Talukdars. So it was made with whom? Rajas and the Talukdar. These Rajas were the Zamindar of Bengal. And Talukdar is also a kind of Zamindar. Taluk means Tehsil, and Tehsil is a subdivision under the district. And Tehsil is generally made upon a large area. Large area come under that Tehsil, and Tehsildar, which is a post-till-date, it is also known as the Talukdar. He collects the revenue of that area. The same way Talukdars used to be there in Bengal and Awadh region, so they were also nominated as the revenue collector by under the permanent policy. They were now classified as the Zamindar. They were named as the Zamindar, and they had to pay the revenue demand that was fixed in perpetuity. So the revenue demand was fixed according to the land which they are having under their control. If the land is higher, more revenue had to be deposited. If the land is less, then less revenue had to be deposited in the company. The company fixed the total demand over the entire estate. The total revenue was decided by the company, and the Raja was supposed to deposit that money to the company on a fixed date by the sunsets. By the sunset of that particular date, he was able to, if he was able to deposit the revenue, then the Zamindari would remain with him. And if he was not able to pay the revenue in that particular time limit, then his Zamindari could be auctioned. The same way the Raja Bardwan's Zamindari was auctioned because he was not able to pay the revenue. He was expected to pay the revenue to the company regularly, failing which his estate could be auctioned. So do you know why the Zamindari of the Zamindar of Bardwan was auctioned? Is that clear? Because he was not able to pay the revenue to the company. Now there must be some reason why he was not able to pay the revenue to the company, because he lost his Zamindari in this way. So that we will discuss. Next is about how Zamindars defaulted on the payment. So there are 4 reasons given in this slide. The first reason tells that the reason for the failure were various. First, the initial demand was very high. The initial demand of the company in permanent settlement was very high. Why the company pegged a high demand? What could be the reason? Why the company fixed a high demand of the revenue? Because the revenue rate was fixed for a long period of time. Is that clear? Because it was permanently fixed. It was not changed year after year. It was fixed for a long period of time, about 30 years. So in 30 years, you can imagine that the rate of the crop doesn't remain the same. Suppose if today we are getting the wheat at 2000 rupees per quintal, will the same price be there after 30 years, or will it be increased? Tell me.
Increase.
It will be increased. As a result, the income of the farmer will also be increased. But if the company fixes the revenue rate according to the price of today, after 30 years, the company would be in loss or not? It would be in loss, because at that time that demand will be very less. So the company already pegged the demand very high, fixed the demand very high, so that it doesn't bear any loss in the future. So they already fixed the demand very high. But that demand at the time of fixing was very high, too high that the farmer could not be able to pay that demand. So that was first reason why the Zamindar defaulted, because the farmer was not able to save that much money, because the revenue demand was very high. As a result, he was not able to pay the revenue to the Zamindar, and in turn, Zamindar was also not able to pay the revenue to the company. The second reason is this high demand was imposed in the year of 1790. It was fixed in 1793, and it was a time when the agricultural prices was already very low. And because of the lower agricultural prices, the income of the farmer was very less, and in that less income, the farmer was not able to meet the high demand of the company. That's why they could not be able to pay the revenue, making it difficult for the right to pay their dues to the Zamindar. If the Zamindar could not collect the rent, how could he pay the company? Zamindar was getting the revenue from the farmer, and after that Zamindar used to keep his share with himself, because there was a fixed commission for the Zamindar also. and the remaining revenue had to be deposited in the company. But Zamindar himself was not getting the revenue from the under Rayot. As a result, he was not able to pay the revenue to the company in the fixed period. The third reason was that the revenue was invariably regardless of the harvest and had to be paid punctually. Earlier, the revenue used to be according to the production that I told you. But now the revenue was invariable. It used to remain the same whether the agriculture is good or bad. If suppose the crops has failed due to some reason, it may be due to drought-like situation, it may be due to the stormy situation. In that case, the agricultural production of the farmer remains very low. But the company did not used to give any relaxation to that farmer. He had to deposit the revenue according to the ruling of the company. In that case, if the revenue was not deposited to the company by the sunset of that day, then the land of that zamindar could be auctioned. So that was called as the sunset law. So what was the sunset law? Can anybody tell me what was the sunset law? Sunset law was that law according to which the revenue had to be deposited in the company's office by the time of the sunset. Generally nowadays 5 o'clock is kept as the last time on a particular date. Last date जो होती है उसमें 5 बजे तक ही फॉर्म एक्सेप्ट होते हैं, उसके बाद नहीं होते. इसी तरह जो है सनसेट तक जो है वो एक्सेप्ट करते थे. अगर सनसेट से 1 घंटा भी लेट हो गया, 1 मिनट भी लेट हो गया, तो उसका रिवेन्यू कंपनी नहीं लेती थी. As a result, his land used to be auctioned. So that was also one of the reason. Fourth reason is that permanent settlement initially limited the power of the zamindar. Zamindar used to be very powerful, but according to the permanent settlement policy, the power of the zamindar was reduced. As a result, he was not able to force the rayot and the other rural areas to deposit the money in time because he was not having any power at that time. So what kind of power was reduced, that we will discuss. Yes, the company recognized the zamindar as an important, but it wanted to control and regulate them. The zamindar used to be very powerful, and company was afraid that in the future zamindar could be dangerous for the company itself. As a result, they wanted to subdue their authority. They wanted to reduce the power of the zamindar, and they wanted to restrict their autonomy. Earlier, zamindar used to be a kind of autonomous. He could do whatever he wanted to do in his territory, but now his power was controlled from the law of the company, by the law of the company. The zamindar troops were disbanded. Zamindar was having his own private troops earlier, and these troops generally were sent in at the time of crisis to the ruler for the help. But now the troops of the zamindar was disbanded. Now he could not have any troops of this kind. With the help of this troop, he used to force the peasant to pay the revenue. But now the troop was disbanded. It was a kind of local police which was managed by the zamindar, but that was disbanded. So the power of the zamindar was reduced. And custom duties were abolished. Earlier, the trader used to pass through the territory of zamindar. In that way, the zamindar used to tax that merchant. The zamindar used to get the tax from that merchant, and the income of the zamindar was high. But now the custom duty was abolished. And their kachari means court. Earlier, zamindar was also acting like the judge. We have read about the feudal system in Europe. They were also acting like the judge. The same way zamindar in Bengal were also acting like the judge. If there was a local dispute among the fellow peasants, the zamindar used to solve their dispute. So that was a kind of local court. And as a result, the farmer was having an afraid of the zamindar. And everything used to be under the supervision of zamindar. But now these courts were also abolished, and zamindar was brought under the commissionary. So the deputy commissioner of that area used to be the senior to that zamindar, and now he took over the control of the court. So zamindar's power was reduced in this way also. Then the zamindar lost their power to organize local justice and local police. Now local police was not in the hand of the zamindar. Local justice was not in the hand of the zamindar. In this way, now nobody was afraid of the Zamindar. Here one term is given Talukdar. That we also discussed. Talukdar literally means one who holds a taluk. Taluk means tehsil or a connection. Taluk came to refer to a territorial unit. So taluk or tehsil is a territorial unit from where a talukdar collects the revenue. So now you know that how the power was reduced of the Zamindar. And because of this reduction in the power, Zamindar was not able to control the peasant and he was not able to get the revenue regularly. So rent collection became a perennial problem. Now rent collection could not be done by the Zamindar. As a result, he was not able to pay the revenue in time. Sometimes bad harvest, low prices of the crops also made the payment difficult. And sometimes Rayot deliberately delayed the payment. There used to be a rich farmer in the village at that time and he was known as the Jotdar. And generally Jotdar used to remain against the Zamindar. So he used to instigate the fellow farmer not to pay the money to the Zamindar so that Zamindar remains in trouble. तो जमींदार को फंसाने के लिए भी जानबूझकर रायत जो थे उनको टाइम पे रेवेन्यू नहीं देते थे. जमींदार could prosecute defaulter. जमींदार उन डिफॉल्टर्स को जो है ठीक कर सकता था if could have a police in his hand. But now the police authority was given to the commissioner. So he was not having any power to prosecute the defaulter. And if he wanted to prosecute them, then he had to go to the commissary and he had to file a case in the court of the commissary. And that was a very long process. You can see that now justice is delayed because it's a very long process. So that long process also resulted in the loss of the power of the Zamindar. Is that clear? Now you understood why the Zamindar was not able to pay the revenue. Chirag, are you listening me?
Yes, sir.
Now is it clear that why Zamindar was not able to pay the revenue?
Yes.
Any doubt to anybody?
Sir, रियोत कौन होते हैं?
Rayot used to be the farmer. Rayot means farmer, common farmer. Is that clear?